Yo, what is up guys? It is Samool back again with another Epic 7 video for you guys today, and we're going to do another Should You Pull video because we have the collab. Yes, the ReZero collab is back featuring Rem, and also Amelia in the next week will also be running as well. But for this week, we do have Rem alone, who will be running for 2 weeks, and we also have alongside her Haste, which is, not a great unit, but we're still going to talk about him. So, getting started, yeah, the collab is back. You guys should be excited. ReZero is a very, very good collab. Even though the side story kind of sucks in my opinion, the units you can get from ReZero are very, very insane. Getting started, let's talk about Rem's skills. So Rem, her S3 is an AoE attack, and it will also decrease hit chance for 2 turns. It's a 100% chance to land, barring, the 15% and effect resist, and will also CR push herself by 50%. Next, we have her signature S2. So there's 2 parts to this. The first part is that going to be when anyone dies, whether it be on your team or the enemy team, she'll cleanse herself and grant herself demon mode. Demon mode will make it so that she ignores effect resist when attacking, and she will also not be able to be debuffed. And keep in mind that she will be cleansing herself when demon mode activates. Also, this cannot be dispelled. Now, the second part of her S2 is the really, really annoying counterattack. When an ally, except for the caster's attack, you have a 20% chance to counterattack with an AoE attack. It's 20% after you Mola. You definitely want to Mola this skill 2+5 no matter what. The counterattack is an AoE attack that will decrease buff durations by 1 turn, very annoying to deal with, and will also inflict unhealable. Now, Rem's S2, when you have demon mode activated, is super annoying because you're just going to be applying unhealable, and her S2 actually does crazy, crazy damage. Keep in mind, when you get your S3 off, you get your attack buff, so your S2 will hit even harder. So yeah, Rem, you're mostly going to run her on a super slow counter attack build, because that way, when you focus Rem, she still has a chance to counterattack, and when you don't focus Rem, you have a chance to counterattack with her S2. And the reason why you want her super slow is because you want her on immunity, making it so that the slower you are with immunity set, you're actually going to have immunity set for a longer period of time. And also, you want to make sure you don't run out of demon mode. You don't want demon mode to expire on your Rem. So making your Rem super slow will make your demon mode last even longer. Rem is basically just a counterattack bot in a sense. Next, we have our S1. Very, very powerful S1. It has a 50% chance to decrease defense for 2 turns. And when you're granted demon mode, guys, you will attack twice with your S1. And this does crazy, crazy damage. If you actually counterattack with this skill from counter set, and you don't proc the AoE from your S2, and you actually land the defense break in demon mode, you're going to one-shot units basically, especially if you land it on a DPS or damage dealer unit. Rem is a very, very annoying unit because if you run her on counter set, no matter whoever you attack on the enemy team, there's a chance that she'll counter, and also you can't ignore her because of demon mode, and if you focus her, she always has that chance to counter and decrease defense. Just very annoying. You will also see Rem on super tanky builds with Sigurd's Scythe, making her super bulky and have sustain to actually heal herself up. When you actually counterattack with her S2 with Sigurd's Scythe, you're actually going to full heal. It's really, really annoying to deal with. So Rem, very insane PvP unit. You'll see her a lot on defense teams. You'll see her in World Arena. You'll see her even on offense teams if you want to bring her against certain units, like fire units, right? The only thing is, she's not uncounterable, guys. You can always just bring, like, Violet. Landy's pretty good. Spectre Tenebria is okay as well. Anything that messes up counters teams, such as Rowana, Lionheart, Sermia is good as well. But in Rem, in certain scenarios where she's not counterpicked, she is a force to be reckoned with. Very, very powerful. PvE, you can actually use her in Ancient Inheritance. She's not that bad because she does have a defense break. And also, you can use her in Wyvern 13 one-shot as a one-shotter. Now, you're probably wondering why you would ever use her over Sigurd. It's only because the gear requirements are slightly lower. And also, you don't need specific units with Rem. But with Sigurd, the gear requirements are quite high. The only thing is you kind of want to use your Rem for PvP. So you want to make sure, you end up using Sigurd late game. But if you are new to the game and not really worried about PvP yet at the current moment, and you're looking for a decent Wyvern 13 one-shotter, Rem is a very good option until you have the gear for your Sigurd to replace her. So Rem is a very, very good unit. You definitely want to pull for her, guys. Similarly to Amelia, she's very, very powerful in PvP in a lot of situations. And in PvE, similarly to Amelia as well, she's very good in Ancient Inheritance. And Rem can actually be used as a Wyvern 13 one-shotter as well until you want to use her in PvP. So that's pretty much it for Rem. You really want to pull for her. I think she is a must pull for sure. You definitely do not want to miss out on her. Now talking about the next unit, Haste. So Haste, yeah, this unit, not that great. So let's talk about his skills real quick, and you'll probably see why. His S3 is an AoE attack that has a chance to inflict bleeding, and when there are 3 or fewer enemies, he'll actually do more damage. Now, at the end of his turn, he will actually detonate bleeding effects inflicted on Earth Elemental units at the end of the turn. I don't know why this is only for Earth Elemental units. I think it's because they wanted him to be like a Golem one-shotter, but there's no reason to use him as a one-shotter when Surmia exists, right? Surmia is another fire unit who can one-shot as well, but just a lot better, right? Doesn't have to worry about the bleeds landing. Next we have his S2. It is a single target attack that will put Unhealable and Vampiric Touch, which is a very cool debuff. Basically, when you hit that unit with Vampiric Touch, you'll heal yourself, and he will also heal his allies, and the amount recovered increases proportional to the damage dealt. Next, we have his S1. That will be a single target attack to inflict bleeding for 2 turns, and if it's an Earth Elemental hero, you'll also steal 1 buff. So it's pretty weird. They're trying to make him like an Earth Elemental hero counter, but just keep in mind, like, for PvE, you have Surmia. For PvP, you have Hwayoung. There's not, and like even like Ravi, right, and even Mercedes. There's no really a use for Haste right now in both PvE and PvP, just because he's just power crept. Personally, I think he needs like a complete rework. I don't think he's a good unit, and Smilegate is trying to help him out, but I think they're kind of putting him in the wrong direction, in my opinion. I think they need to make him more reliable on like detonating his bleeds and stuff like that, and try to, you know, make him more synergistic with like bleed comps rather than, you know, a counter to Earth units when there are already so many good fire units for that, right? So yeah, Haste not that good. You're not going to really use him anywhere. Before his changes, he was actually pretty decent as a Wyvern 13 one-shotter, but even then, like, why would you ever use him, right? The gear requirements on him are still pretty high. So that's pretty much it for the 2 units, guys. Rem is a very, very easy must-pull. Haste is pretty crappy. I would not waste any resources on him, especially because Amelia is coming next week, and we also most likely have another collab unit coming as well that's newly releasing. Now let's talk about the artifacts, guys. So first we have Azure Comet, which is Rem's artifact. It is a flat increase to crit chance by 15%, and when someone dies, you'll CR push yourself. So you'll think that this is very good on her. It's actually very bad, because even though you get free crit chance, guys, you're not going to want the CR push on her because you want her to be slow so she can keep her demon mode as long as possible. Also, you need her on Sigurd Scythe basically because without Sigurd Scythe, she's actually very easy to deal with because she doesn't have sustain. Whereas if she's on Sigurd Scythe and you drop her below 50% and she's able to get a counter attack off with her S2, she will basically fully heal herself. Also, if you get her below 50% health before she gets a turn off, she can S3 and fully heal herself as well. So, Azure Comet, guys, even though it is a limited or collab artifact, I think this is very rarely used on any unit. It's pretty safe to skip on this one and not waste your bookmarks, even though it is a collab artifact. Next, we have Haste's unit, Ria Anna and Luciella. So this artifact is actually very good. You actually have a chance to be granted an extra turn at the end of your turn. Keep in mind this can only be activated once per turn. It's kind of like violent runes or procs in Summoner's War, but you can't just chain them, right? This can only work once a turn. Also keep in mind this only works on thieves. This is really good on stuff like Crescent Moon, Rin, any really fast thief unit that wants to try to get lucky and proc extra turns. You can use this on basically any fast thief. It's pretty RNG though. 20% chance is pretty low, and that's 20% at max limit break. So honestly, I wouldn't buy this artifact either, even though it's featured. This is an artifact that you actually want to like just want to keep one copy and just max limit break it as you play the game a lot. And once you have a max copy, you can make a fun unit like Crescent Moon Rin on like 300 speed and try to, you know, annoy people that way. But yeah, this artifact, you know, pretty RNG, not worth buying with your powder, but it is fun to use later on in the game once you have a lot of copies. And if you already have a max limit break copy of this for some reason, try it out on like Crescent Moon Rin. It's actually really fun to use, but in practical usage, it's not that great. So yeah, that's pretty much it for these banners, guys. We have Rem running this week for 2 weeks, and then next week we also have Amelia that will run for 2 weeks. Just to recap, once again, Rem must pull, Amelia is also a must pull, guys, if you guys don't want to, you know, wait for my next Should You Pull video. Both collab units you definitely want to pull for.